We have now with us brothers from the province of Northeast. Province of Northeast will be followed by province of Brazzaville.
Greetings to all of you from the province of Northeast India. Education mission being the heritage and legacy of the Montfort Brothers of St. Gabriel, the province of Northeast India shall strive to promote an inclusive educational approach in all its centers. All those by the world rejected on your love have greater claim, wrote Montfort more than 300 years ago in hymn number 149. The brothers shall collaborate with other NGOs and like-minded persons to ensure that every child with disability in the northeast of India shall receive education according to her or his need. Northeast of India being diverse in many aspects and often prone to violence and disharmony among sections of the society, we shall promote peace education, and for the advantage of several underprivileged groups in the region, we shall support human rights education. May Saint Montfort continue to inspire and the Holy Spirit guide us in this endeavor. Thank you.
Dear brothers, my idea for Montfort in education is that we should be oriented towards the poor, the marginalized and the disabled. It should be totally inclusive. Montfort in education should impart values of faith in God, faith in others, and faith in oneself. To bring out the best in every child should be the aim of Montfort in education. Prepare the child to move into a world of struggle and competition. Remember that the winners will win with or without us. Go to the poor, the weak. They need us more. Show a differential option for the poor. I hope that we work hand in hand to build a new world, a world of justice, harmony, and peace.
Thanks to brothers of Northeast Province. Brothers from Brazzaville, followed by the province of Hyderabad.
Pour lutter contre l'analphabétisme, la pauvreté intellectuelle et spirituelle, il faudrait promouvoir l'éducation de tous les enfants en âge scolaire par une sensibilisation des parents ou des tuteurs. Il faudrait former tous les enseignants à tous les niveaux et les recycler. Il faut construire les infrastructures scolaires et assurer leur équipement. Il faut bien rémunérer les enseignants pour qu'ils aiment ce métier. Il faut lutter contre la corruption dans les milieux scolaires, qui est la cause du baisse de niveau en Afrique. Il faudrait aussi promouvoir les enseignements techniques et scientifiques. Il faut aussi promouvoir l'alphabétisation pour les jeunes et les adultes. Il faudrait promouvoir le genre dans les milieux scolaires, car en Afrique, il y a de pesanteurs socioculturelles qui sont défavorables à la promotion scolaire des filles. Car à partir de 6e, la classe secondaire, le taux de déperdition scolaire s'élève. Il faudrait aussi promouvoir les écoles spéciales pour les personnes vivant avec handicap. Enfin, il faut insérer dans le programme la catéchèse et la culture religieuse et aussi programmer des journées de sensibilisation sur les questions de justice et paix et intégrité de la création. Merci.
Nous savons que l'éducation est un facteur clé pour la formation de la personne humaine. Ma vision et mon engagement de l'éducation Montfortel pour 2030 est d'instruire, d'éduquer et de former toutes les personnes défavorisées, les analphabètes, les pauvres, afin qu'ils soient éclairés, équilibrés, qu'ils soient responsables et capables de se prendre en charge. Pour y parvenir, les frères, les enseignants doivent être bien formés pour qu'à leur tour, ils forment bien les élèves. Pour cela, nous nous engageons à conscientiser toute la communauté éducative, à réformer l'éducation dans la discipline, promouvoir le genre de manière à protéger les enfants, les filles, et aussi protéger notre environnement. Éduquer toute la communauté éducative par la revitalisation de la parole de Dieu. Ceci, c'est pour aboutir à la transformation de la vie de la personne humaine. Merci.
Over to brothers from Hyderabad province. We have two sisters with us. Sister Lucy has addressed us yesterday. Hyderabad province will be followed by Sister Karuna, who is part of brothers. She has been and she is.
Good morning, brothers. My dream of one-portion education. We in the province of Hyderabad rightly pat ourselves for the services being rendered by brothers in the rural, town and urban milieu, catering to the educational needs of the spectrum of the society. Today, glancing through the lens of St. Montfort, our founder, today's society, swiftly changing, where disparities and distinctions prevail viciously on the sections of the people of class and mass, ever-widening gap between the rich and the poor, weakening secular fabric of the country. We need to create an integrated and inclusive educational environment. In this context, a preferred scenario for the third centenary of blessings to live more intensely the spirit of Montfort and our forefathers is to show genuine empathy by empowering the powerless in all aspects of life through quality education and building bridges in human promotion. Thank you.
Dream of a Montfort education that creates a world order that is inclusive, enabling, community-centered, and a harbinger of unity that respects diversity. I dream of a Montfort education that would create liberals, transformed individuals, rooted in the ultimate wisdom that leads her to the core of herself. I dream of a Montfort education that would create liberals, human communities that cares for the whole community of life, that meets the needs of all, but not the greed of any. I dream of a Montfort education that would create liberals, a world where all wars of division, strife, inequality and discrimination would give way to equality of all, respect for all, and an education that would sustain all. I visualize ourselves as a band of Montfortian disciples of the future that is courageous, that is dynamic, that is passionate to realize this great dream. Thank you.
Good morning, brothers. I envision a Montfortian education more inclusive, especially the weak and marginalized, responding proactively to the challenges that face our country and the world. It is time we brothers move away from narrow understanding of education to expand it to encompass all spheres of our life. I wish we place our resources and personnel proportionately on the basis of class ratio of the country. Thank you.
Thanks to brothers from my sister Province from Hyderabad. Sister Karuna is with us. Sister Karuna will be followed by Province of Delhi.
Good afternoon, brothers and sisters, and happy feast to all of you. Well, my dream is yet to be translated into words. I'll try. My dream of Montfortian education is through the imitation of the life of Christ, which is a way of life itself. And this goes beyond the structured framework of education system. Whichever mission we may be or we are engaged, we may be able to help people to become what they are created to become. The crown of God's creation. With the development of information technology, the gap between the rich and the poor is widening rapidly. My dream is that we may be able, if not to be able to fill, but to be able at least to bridge this gap within our capacity. Thank you.
Sister Karuna, Province of Delhi, followed by the Province of Princess.
Province of Delhi. We are in alignment with all the statements brought out by the world bodies in the realm of education. But I'll be happy to have some of its elements realized, particularly in the context of my own province or in the context of India itself. Take education in its proper and complete perspective to all the stakeholders and engaging them in continuous dialogue. Widening the scope of education in its reach and influence, particularly those who cannot afford quality education. Building capacity and competency among brothers and teachers to handle the needs of modern children. efforts and programs to be initiated to align the vision, focus, and Montfort's education ethos with that of our collaborators. Greater networking of our schools in the province for sharing the vision, expertise, finance, as well as for exchange programs. Instilling in our students a greater awareness of the integrity of creation with a special focus on ecological concerns. We also dream of raising the level of education from classroom experience to greater consciousness and responsive to world realities. The creation at the national level, the creation of All India Association of Montfort Schools is intended to create greater awareness and impact of our educational mission in India at all levels, as well as to promote greater networking. Thank you.
Education and civilization are the two main words which the entire society stands. Education enlightens the path of civilization. Further, civilization glorifies the path of enlightenment, love, mercy, and behavior of each creature of the society. A vision of Montfort education is to build up a community based on value, incorporating the basic religious and cultural values of the people by giving our best through education and being close to the nature in response to the need of the people. Our commitment is to accompany every child who are entrusted to us to help them to lead a life suitable to the society, self, and make them to be a caring and loving personality. Thank you.
Thanks to the province of Delhi, province of Hindustan.
Bonjour frères et sœurs, la province de Kinshasa. Toute personne humaine a droit à l'éducation. L'éducation n'a pas de frontières. Elle ne fait pas de choix. Elle est donnée à tout le monde, langue, peuple et nation. Le rêve que j'ai dans ma province est que pour l'éducation montfortaine, la croissance davantage de la spiritualité montfortaine dans nos établissements scolaires, dans nos structures éducatives, selon les réalités culturelles. Celle-ci doit être prioritaire aux nécessités. Former des frères montfortains gabrielistes compétents, capables d'instruire les enfants et surtout témoins de l'Évangile dans la mission éducative. Relever les défis dans ce monde en perpétuelle mutation, où les valeurs sont devenues des antivaleurs et vice-versa. Témoigner Montfort là où il est oublié et là où il n'est pas encore annoncé. Soyons les témoins et défenseurs de la jeunesse dans nos établissements scolaires. Merci.
Ayant proclamé éducation pour tous, nous constatons que tous les enfants ne sont pas inclus dans cette éducation qui est donnée à tous. Raison pour laquelle je rêve que l'éducation doit être inclusive et complète, sans tenir compte de culture, des classes sociales ni des races. Mais pour y arriver, je souhaiterais que nous puissions créer un réseau de solidarité éducationnelle gabrieliste. Avec ce réseau, nous pouvons réhabiliter et construire de nouvelles infrastructures scolaires et des centres professionnels. Nous pouvons équiper les écoles et les centres professionnels conformément à la technologie de l'éducation de pointe afin d'assurer les conditions de travail optimales. Nous penserons au recyclage des enseignants et surtout à la prise en charge des enfants déshérités. Nous penserons également à l'amélioration des conditions sociales des enseignants et surtout adapter les systèmes éducatifs aux procédés audiovisuels modernes, c'est-à-dire la projection des éléments afin de lutter contre les systèmes éducatifs du type colonial. Et nous amènerons les enfants à être compétitifs aux objectifs du millénaire de la mondialisation. Merci.
Brothers, if I am not mistaken, we have just one more province, that is the province of Pune. Senegal? Sorry. Yeah, upper province of Pune, good to Senegal.
Good afternoon, everybody. My vision statement for the Mount Fortune education. We envision to prepare world-class leaders. We envision to achieve excellence by creating globally competent, ethical, high-performing world citizens through holistic education. Preparing the individuals to function effectively within the global environment using technological development in education. Reaching the periphery of the world, doing whatever we do with love. Along with imparting knowledge, building relationships, and bringing everyone closer to God. Thus, creating a difference with Mount Fortune's presence in the world. Thank you.
We'll go to the province of Senegal.
En ce qui concerne la province du Sénégal, la vision que nous avons de l'éducation montfortaine et pour laquelle nous nous engageons à travailler pour les années à venir, c'est accueillir les enfants et les jeunes, quelles que soient leurs aptitudes et situations, en augmentant les infrastructures d'accueil, en ayant une connaissance personnalisée des élèves pour être attentif aux jeunes en difficulté, éduquer aux valeurs spirituelles, aux droits de la personne humaine, à la liberté, à la responsabilité et à la protection de l'environnement. Construire tout l'homme par le développement du goût de la justice, de la vérité, de l'effort, de la recherche et aussi du goût de l'art et du goût. Éduquer ensemble en formant une communauté éducative en promouvant la participation du plus grand nombre dans la vie de l'école. Vivre et dire l'Évangile par le témoignage de la présence du Christ, de l'enseignement de la catéchèse et de la morale, tout en respectant les autres croyances. Merci.
Chers frères et sœurs, 4 images de notre rêve. Nous rêvons d'un cadre scolaire gabriéliste où enseignants et apprenants sont heureux de se rendre, heureux de travailler. Nous rêvons d'établissements gabriélistes où règne la co-responsabilité entre frères, parents d'élèves, enseignants et bienfaiteurs. Nous rêvons d'une éducation montfortaine qui conduit à la valorisation de soi-même et de son milieu de vie. Nous rêvons enfin d'une éducation gabriéliste qui permet à chaque apprenant, garçon ou fille, de s'épanouir, d'exprimer pleinement ses potentialités. Merci.
Thanks to brothers from Canada. Yeah, the moderator should have the last words. That is what I didn't speak earlier. For me, in a post-modern era, Montfortian education is to be a person-oriented. Education is a means to transform the individuals, communities, society, and the pattern of relationship with God, others, and environment. It's a means of inculcating the personal commitment to the social justice and orientedness. It is to form enlightened and harmonious whole person. It is also to empower persons, particularly children and youth, to become self-aware and realize one's intellectual, emotional, spiritual, and social levels, to be able to contribute to the community and build fraternal relationship and attain transformed world. Yes. Over to Brother Maya.
I think the paper of Brother John is there on the table. I have forwarded to you the paper of our nuncio, the inaugural address, by soft copy. In case somebody wants a hard copy, you let me know, I will give. But otherwise I am not distributing that. But in case you need, please ask me. Also I have sent a soft copy of the timetable for rest of our program. Yesterday we had the first day. Now today, tomorrow, day after till 5th, the program is sent to you. However, I have kept some copies there, copies there on the table. You can put one into your file as well. Since some of you may find it difficult to look at the computer, you can look at the paper. So that is the afternoon. Are you, okay, since we are coming for Marian prayer, after that we will disperse for our, all the best. Bon appetit. And ever since he came to Delhi, he has been very vibrant and he has passed on that vibrancy to others too. We have even created a small entity in Delhi to influence the government and the church and so on. We are connected to that kind of thing. So he has got a man of vision, and he is also fortunately, unlike some cases, well connected with digital world, the digital continent of learning says, connected to the digital continent. He has been watching our telecast yesterday for 2 hours. What was happening here? So whatever we said yesterday morning, for inauguration, he has been listening carefully without any distraction in his place. So, in other words, he is a connected personality. So, with that little introduction, if I say too much, then this paper may become a little important. So, we are happy that we have him with us for this morning. Thanks, sir.
Dear brothers, on behalf of all present here, I welcome and we hope to have a very useful interaction. Thank you. I tell you here after you.
Thank you, brother. I think I have to sit and talk, I think. I'm accustomed to stand and speak, but better because there is more of my the chair itself is not okay. What was my case then? Okay. Respected Father General, Brother General, and Brother Mani, and all other brothers here. Thank you for inviting me to share my thoughts with you. Because a couple of weeks ago, Brother Mani asked me, will you be able to come here and share a few thoughts and also a little bit of interaction with regards to the society's way of functioning, etc. And I said, yes, if that helps you, then I'm good. That's why I came.
Without having an eye contact, you will not be as effective as anything. It's better to stand and speak. That's why. Hello? Okay, translation is there.
Coming?
Can you hear me? No.
Shall we go ahead then? Okay, so Brother Mani asked me to come and share. And I think this session, what I will do is half of the time I will explain something very, very important. There are churches, 2 documents. Both the documents we are celebrating the Jubilee. The next session, half of the time, you can have questions, interaction, etc. in regards to society's function. So the first one is, we had recently, last 2 years, 2 meetings based on these 2 documents in Rome. The first one is Gravissimo Educationis, which covers 50th year, which is written for the cardinals, the bishops, the heads of the dioceses, provincials, superiors, and so on. And also, it tells very, very important things to the teachers in our Catholic educational institutions. See, the first important thing is, as Catholic educationists, it's very important for us to know what church teaches us about education. There are 2 meetings which I told you. One happened in 2012 and one happened this year, February. And one more is going to have an international educational conference will be in the month of November this year in Rome, going to, based on all this. The indications that emerged in these 2 meetings are reflected in the Instrumentum Laboris. They have put out a document based on these 2 major churches' teachings. Educating today and tomorrow believe in passion. And I think that goes very well with your theme and the intention in which you have gathered. Okay, let us see. The text records the essential reference points, both the documents, the fundamental characteristics of Catholic schools and universities, going on to describe the challenges to which Catholic education institutions are born to respond. My dear brothers, when we look at the whole world today, we are facing a lot of problems. There is one side, too much of stress on secularistic values. At the same time, we are facing religious fundamentalism in its worst form everywhere. No matter whether it is in Europe, in Middle East, in Africa, in the East, especially in India. So in that context, these teachings are very, very important for us because it is not a reactive way of responding, but it is a very, very proactive way of responding. Catholic education. We have thousands and thousands of schools. I don't know in Africa and in your own continents how many institutions you all run. But as a whole, we have thousands and thousands of universities and schools here. In India itself, the Catholic Church has 15,500 institutions. We have in India, Indian subcontinent, church-related institutions like Protestants and other groups put together Christian institutions, numbers 35,000 in India. That means we understand all over the world we are having so many thousands of institutions. And church tells us all these institutions basically is to support the ecclesial communities, to contribute the fostering of anthropological and ethical values in individual conscience and cultures. Very, very times what happens in our schools and colleges, we teach people, in fact, stressing too much. In fact, more intellectual monsters. When it talks about ethical and moral values, let me tell you one simple example. One example recently what happened in one of the schools. That particular school is run by Jesuits, and if some of you are from that side, you know Loranto St. Xavier School. I went for 2 days teachers orientation program there. At the end of the orientation, one of the teachers got up and told me, Father, in our school, students score 99% of marks in the council examination. But we have noticed something is wrong with these students. The so-called best students also do not know how to behave. Recently they went for a tour outside. All through the way in the airlines, these students were disturbing the air hostess by asking for that one, biscuits, ice cream. And all through the way they were misbehaving with the people. And that's precisely church is asking us. It's not only simply marks or intellectual excellence. We need to create people who are really human beings who know how to deal with the other. And other can extend it to various things. The purpose of this document called Gravissimo Education was to draw the attention of the church people in today's world. Next, brother. See, if those who have the papers, you will see third page. Beautifully, I have brought out this. There are some points. takes very seriously this. The challenges we had in 1960s, during the Vatican II, etc., have not weakened the stress that church is emphasizing. In fact, church's teaching has been strengthened with the challenges that we are facing today. You see, there are 7 points I have brought out in the 3rd page of the paper, stating the church's willingness to work for a humane society and personal development of individuals. There are 2 aspects. One is societal development as well as individual development. Both church values. Second is recognizing education as a common good. We need to be part of the society. In that part of the society, everybody's well-being is stressed in our educational ideology. Claiming the universal right to education and schooling for all, as declared by international organizations such as UNESCO, education for all. So church is also taking up that one very seriously. And in fact, your dream and my dream is this, to give a better education to everybody. Implicitly supporting all individuals and international institutions to oppose rampant liberalism through their fight for the right to education. Why this rampant liberalization is a part of the byproduct of the capitalistic ideology, where those who have everything, others do not have. That's why churches does ignore. We should not allow unbridled capitalistic liberalism. We have to control. 5th point is asserting that culture and education cannot be subservient to economic power and its workings. 6th point is recalling everybody's duty, whether communities or individuals, to support women's participation in cultural life. 7. Outlining a cultural context of new humanism. That new humanism is repeatedly expressed by the present Pope. You will see his writings, his talks, everything is in accordance with the church's teachings. The second point here we have to notice the church's document emphasizes our education should have a theological and a spiritual vision. Theological and a spiritual vision. That is, Christian and Catholic institution education must focus, because we believe that our education institutions should be part of this great mission in educating people in faith. And we will see later on in a multicultural, multi-religious setup how to teach. It is also church gives very much. Vatican II, number 17 will tell you Christian education as a work of evangelization. Second, the emphasis on necessarily sacramental character of education for Christians. Third, the need for Christian education to grow at the same time as human education for all. We need to stress on that humanitarian, value-based education. And fourth one is the urging to envisage Christian education within the context of faith for a poor, especially poor church. In line with one of the pivotal points the Pope Francis makes now. Church should be the church of the poor. And we have, I'm sure, we have created an option, I'm sure that your congregation also has option for the poor, etc. Because today what is happening is critical thinking or divergent thinking is simply not allowed. It's not happening. Instead of that, a convergent thinking is coming, one way of thinking. In neuron innovative, critical, as well as research-based education in our schools. Church sees that very seriously. Be inspired by Christian values not only insofar as individuals are concerned, but also the entire community. If you notice, this church is stressing on this communitarian aspect from the beginning. Promote constant reflection on the process and achievements of study and knowledge in the light of Catholic faith. That's why we need to have that IPP-based education. We can change it to our own context, but context-based, experience-based, reflection-based, action-oriented, evaluation-based education is the education church is asking us. Integral pedagogical program, you can call it. It's very, very important to understand. That's why be faithful to Christian message as it presented by the church. You have to be faithful to the doctrines of the church, etc. Serve the people of God and mankind in the efforts they undertake to access truth. We have to make people to reflect on truth and justice and what is going on in the world. And therefore the church will say, this doctrine again will say, no, the thing is this, what our universities and schools should be. First of all, it has to building an educational context. In the holy, I told you in the morning, all the individuals are holy. And we need to bring out this holiness in the difficult context we live in today. That's the first point, building an educational context. The climate that is perverted, not only by the values that are being expressed in universities, but also by the values they are lived out. 6 hours or 8 hours students are with us. Rest of the time they are out. So we need to take into consideration of this direct or indirect learning of the children, and then we have to find ways to better them in the church's idea. Therefore, as teachers and principals and schools administrators, we need to keep one thing in mind, that is the cure of personalities, care of the individual. That's why the big numbers on when we take the class is impossible. Our teachers themselves will tell us. It's difficult for us because we are not able to care. The respect and love for individual dignity and uniqueness, cure of personalities we call. Second is not only cognitive development, but also physical, emotional, spiritual, psychological, and so on. We need to stress all these. Encouragement of every pupil to develop their talents in a climate of cooperation and solidarity. Our schools have to have that conducive atmosphere which I mentioned in the morning. It's not like running like any other body. Somebody else is running, so we are also running. It's not. People say, is it important to cover the syllabus? It is not covering the syllabus is important. It is to uncover the syllabus in our schools. That's more important. And therefore, church will say, the promotion of research as a rigorous commitment towards truth, being aware that human knowledge has its limits, but also with great openness of mind and heart. It's not that everybody knows everything. Research will reveal everything, but we need to be ready to accept anything at any time. And openness. Finally, it will say respect of ideas, openness to dialogue, especially in our context. To interact and work together in a spirit of freedom and care, especially in a pluralistic society wherever we are, in India, in Africa also, I'm sure. Okay. Introducing students to research is very important. Teaching as an instrument of education, I want to read you since you are the pen only reading, I am reading. Teaching as an instrument for education, because it's not only what we teach that matters, it's also how we teach. How we teach also matters, also the content also matters. Both are integrated for lofty is chill. Where is not chill? The diversity of learners have to be understood. Sixth point is pluralism of educational establishment. It is all in the paper. I'm just doing that. Because we have interaction and we can ask more on way of functioning. Organizational structure we will do. And significance of training our personnel. This is very, very important in our education institutions. For example, in a context where we are, our brother introduced me, saying that normally schools do not have a lay, fathers as principal or brothers as principal, only lay people as principal. So how do you impart to our non-Christian milieu the Jesuit societies or your society's values and visions? That's why we need substantial training formation, which we will explain later. That's why significance of the training of a person is very, very important. They should have ability to create, invent, and manage learning environments that provide plentiful opportunities. They should be able to respect students' multiple intelligences. Howard Gardner's new theory of multiple intelligence has to be taken into consideration. We are not only one-sided, only intellectual IQ. We have many other areas where capabilities is given by God. We need to look into that aspect and encourage children. They should be capable of accompanying their students towards lofty and challenging goals. The teacher must be accompanying the students. That's more be religious. All our teachers must be mentors to our schools. They are mentors. And next is important area we can look into is the current and future challenges of Catholic education. These are all ideally very good. It needs to be like this. But in a situation where we are faced with, what are the challenges? Number one, we are witnessing an increased hostility towards church and its educational activities by a section of political and religious organizations. This is not only here, in the Central Asian countries you will see, Middle East you will find, in Africa you have seen Boko Haram and so on. We are familiar with all these. See, a lot of troubles we face. In Latin America, in the United States, even in Africa, we are faced with problems. In India, all the world. We are witnessing an increased hostility these days. Increased mob attacks and hooliganism, kidnapping, all kinds of things. So in this situation, again a few more challenges. We witness a remarkable differentiation, privatization, and even expropriation of knowledge by newly mushroomed corporate education. So everywhere. The other day when I came to meet Jesuit principals in Karnataka, in Bangalore I had a meeting in St. Joseph Boys School last month, this time. One of the concerns they expressed is, on the way to Mysore somewhere, they have started a school, somebody has started a school, and corporate school. So how do you keep up your identity? How do we give these values and so on? It's a challenge. We face challenge to make young people realize the beauty of faith in Jesus Christ. There is a fashion today. Moving away from the church and church faith. Around so-called Christian. We face another serious challenge of being Catholic educators of credible witnesses. Our own witnessing value. In this context, how do we witness to the people outside? Again, another rejoinder I just tell you. Last month we had one meeting in Darjeeling where we had a panel discussion on alumni association. A panel discussion on looking at the fathers. Many of them Buddhists, Hindus, Muslims, and a few Christians also. They all share one thing, looking at us. That you are all wonderful Others are going for better corporate type of schools. So how do we keep this identity? Again, for us, Father Arupe, Pedro Arupe used to say, how do you keep up the student plus in your school in this one? Okay. Next challenge is the challenge of dialogue. They say the problems today we face is because of our lack of communication, lack of understanding, lack of dialogue. So today it is all the more we are called to have in our schools means of resources. We want to do a lot of things. But many times we face the crunch of financial difficulties. We have. How do we reach out to the poor? Already we said churches vision is to help the poor. But many times we face this problem. The story model. Depending upon the challenges of that area at that time, visionary people came up with new ideas. My provincial, Brother Mani knows, my provincial was seriously, as you have come with a new entity, and just putting forward this. Again, the pastoral challenge. Very many times we have very few, 50 students in 3,000 number. Yeah, please, no? 50. How do you do this pastoral needs of the children and their parents? Specific challenges for multi-religious and multi-cultural societies. We are facing a lot of problems. You know, brothers who are from far away, in certain dioceses in India we are facing, it has come and it will come to other places also. That even Saraswati statues are to be erected in your schools. Jagadharpur Diocese of CMI has agreed to this demand and it has no problems there. I have visited that. So, unless we start tackling this issue with having proper dialogue with our opponents, people who are against us. Okay, the challenge of lifelong teachers training. Very many times in our schools, including the districts, we found that we are here to run the school. Our teachers are qualified. There is no in-service training given to the teachers. That is the problem we are facing. So we need to have modules to give them in-service training in the traditions or the visions of our congregations. So on. Okay. Places and resources for teachers training, etc., which you can go to. National structure, what we are forming, now the which you are forming itself will be a great help for you. There are a lot of legal challenges how to tackle. And finally, conclusion is, my dear brothers, our schools should have, the outcome of our schools should be on the basis of 5 C's, which I am sure that all of you will agree. And we have come up with, and it is university itself. That is, our students, our alumni, our benefactors, our beneficiaries, or beneficiaries should come up with these ideas in their entity, their behavior, existence. There should be people of conscience. People of conscience. People of conscience, the best example I can give you is the example of the Kusa marriage. There were 3 people saw the wounded man. But the first one, he was conscious, but his conscience did not move to help the person. Second person also was conscious of the person. But the second person also did not use his conscience. Conscience means it has a moral aspect that makes me to act or react positively. Second is, we need to have people of competence. Competence is a hallmark of our education institutions. I'll give you competence on a simple example. The other day I was going to Guwahati to Kalimpong to Alipurduar But I was going to Shillong on the way to Indian Nagar. There is a bridge also, a good little bridge looking so good, built in 2011. But it is written weak bridge. Weak bridge, W-E-A-K, weak bridge. 2011 only this bridge. This is the best example of competence. Our engineers, how do we make competent people? Competency goes along with commitment also. Commitment for the future. Okay, that's the second one. Third is people of compassion. People of compassion. But no need to explain, we know. And people of commitment, definitely. That's what the Laudato Si, Pope's encyclical tells us. My dear brothers, there is also, let me add up this, there is a clear-cut shift in theology today. With that encyclical. The first line of the encyclical, if you read depth level, you will understand the whole theology has been rewritten. Pope says, the world is our home. This world is our home. That's a theological shift. We are not having that world, other world alone. This world is our home. So we have a commitment to this world for the next generation. We cannot simply exploit and go away. We cannot destroy this. That's where the compassion comes from there. And fifth one is people of character. That's why in our education institutions, we are not only educating intellectually, we need to educate people in certain values, moral and ethical values. That's our outcome. Therefore, I read out, everybody can take this paper, those who have the paper on the last page of this, one of the professions of Pope you read. Pope Francis, I conclude with this. Pope Francis encourages us this way. Do not be disheartened in the face of the difficulties that the educational challenge presents. Educating is not a profession, but an attitude, a way of being. In order to educate, it is necessary to step out of ourselves and be among young people, to accompany them in the stages of their growth, and to set ourselves beside them, accompany them. Give them hope and optimism for their journey in the world. Teach them to see the beauty and goodness of creation and of man, who always retain the Creator's own walk. But above all, with your life, be witness of what you communicate. Educators pass on knowledge and values with their words, but their words will have an incisive effect on children and young people if they are accompanied by their witness, their consistent way of life. Without consistency, it is impossible to educate. You are all educators. There are no delegates in this field. Thus, collaboration, a spirit of unity and community among various educators is essential and must be fostered and encouraged. School can and must be catalyst. It must be a place of encounter and convergence of entire educating community, with the sole objective of training and helping to develop mature people who are simple, competent, and honest, who know how to love with fidelity, who can live life as a response to God's call, and their future profession as a service to society. So the whole church's teaching in these two documents can be seen in this one paragraph of Pope Francis. It brings out so meticulously, so precisely brothers, I have put up a few questions for you. Maybe take time, but reflect on these questions. Questionnaire is, the following questionnaire serves us three major elements, or three or four, I think. Major elements are there, you can discuss four. First one is identity and mission. The last page of this paper, you see, page one, you can take it up. Identity and mission. Now, identity and mission. First, and a few questions are there. Second one is our subjects. Third one is our formation. And fourth one is challenge and outcome. And these questions, if you go through, you will be able to have a perspective on what we are supposed to do as church education, no matter whether they are this or not for our selections or anything. So that's it about these two documents. Now, in this background, we will see how we are operating. If you have any doubts in regards to anything, you feel free to ask me. If I am able to tell you, I will be able to tell you. I have a structure I can show you also. Jesuit structure in the South Asia. So international level 1 and then coming down to the local level if you want. But if you are interested, because I don't understand what exactly you want, you ask me, I will be able to tell you about